guys, welcome back to another edition of Civil-Liberties News. The world is going to hell in a freaking handbasket. Have I got some news to show you guys today? But before we get into that, I want to show you a quick clip from the Joe Rogan podcast where they caught a New York reporter speaking on a hot mic when he didn't know that he was being recorded. Just keep it in your mind. Keep it in the back of your mind as to what they're talking about. And you'll see where it becomes applicable later on in the video. Check it out.
They're joking. No, but that's okay. So now it says apparently joking. It doesn't sound like they're joking. Play what it says. Because let me explain it here. John Roberts comes in, and it's going to play an ad before this, Jamie, so kill the volume. John Roberts comes in, and when he comes in, he's not wearing a mask, and he tells the other gentleman, you could take the mask off. And he tells them about this LA study. Go ahead, play it here.
What's up, Barry?
All right, man.
What do you know, baby?
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's like 0.1 to 0.3 according to USC.
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway. Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1, 20.3. So that makes it 0.1, 20.3.
So that makes it 0.1, 20.3.
Does a study to come out with?
Yeah, just give it to that. So it suggests that the case fatality rate is 10. It seems.
Wow.
Which puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
So it was a hoax.
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
So here's what's weird about that. One, that guy says, well, we've all been vaccinated here anyway.
Right.
Now, maybe he was joking. Maybe he's got a weird sense of humor.
Long joke.
It's
Terrible
a weird joke.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird joke, alright. Like I said, keep this in your mind as you're watching the next clip of Trump talking about opening the country back up, and him and Pence go to a factory where they make the masks and stuff. None of them are wearing masks. Trump, Pence, the guys that are there showing them around the factory, nobody is wearing a mask. Do you honestly think that our leaders of the United States are going to risk their life, risk catching this disease? I don't think so. I think it's more like they've already got the vaccine. Who would do that? Who would go and risk their life, put themselves around a bunch of people who may or may not have the coronavirus? I just don't see it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make good business sense, let alone common sense. Check out this clip.
President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that he will soon wind down the White House coronavirus task force, possibly before the end of the month, as the number of coronavirus fatalities in the U.S. crossed 70,000, the highest death toll in the world.
Mike Pence and the task force have done a great job, but we're now looking at a little bit of a different form. And that form is safety and opening, and we'll have a different group probably set up for that.
Are you saying mission accomplished?
No, not at all. The mission accomplished is when it's over.
On his first trip out of Washington in weeks, Trump toured a factory in Phoenix, Arizona that makes N95 masks, opting to go without wearing one as Guns N' Roses' cover of Live and Let Die blared in the background. Vice President Mike Pence drew heavy criticism for not wearing a mask during a recent trip to Minnesota's Mayo Clinic. He later apologized for it. Trump has been unable to hold rallies in an election year amid the coronavirus pandemic, and the president seemed happy to be back in campaign mode and out of the White House, as he pressed for states to reopen, even as cases and deaths mount by the day.
We can't keep it closed. I mean, I've had doctors say, well, why don't we close it for a couple of years? This is the United States of America. And you know what? The people of our country are warriors, and I'm looking at it. I'm not saying anything is perfect. And yes, will some people be affected? Yes. Will some people be affected badly? Yes. But we have to get our country open, and we have to get it open soon.
So yeah, basically we are reopening the country. You heard it from the president. Can't keep it shut. We are America. Gotta move forward. Yes, I know some people are gonna be badly affected by it, which is code word for they're gonna die. A couple of months ago, they came out and they were like, hey, it looks good. Looks like we're only gonna have about 50,000 deaths come this fall, August, September. Yeah, well, we're already over 70,000 now. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying that the government does have a vaccine or doesn't have a vaccine. There's so much information out and there's so much disinformation out, it's really hard to tell. But what I do is I try to kind of look at things from a common sense approach and think of it like, if our own president is willing to go put himself around random people without wearing a mask, without protecting himself, then either one, this virus is not as deadly as they're portraying it to be. 2, they do have a vaccine and they've already been vaccinated against it. Or 3, they're just fucking retarded. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to it. But who would do that? Who would, knowingly put themselves in harm's way, potentially, if this virus is as deadly as they say it is? And you just don't know how it's going to act in your body until you have it. So there's no, according to what they're saying, right? So anyways, those are just some things to think about. These are things I think about, and I'm gonna move on. This is in our Columbus Dispatch here in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm not gonna read the article. I'm just going to summarize it for you. About a week or so ago, I put out a video about food shortages coming, and I'll link to that. You'll see it come up in the top right hand corner if you want to watch that video. But yeah, I mean, it's happening, right? We've got farmers who have cattle and pigs and chickens and milk and everything ready to have processed, but they don't have anywhere to send it. The meat processing plants have shut down because they've been infected with the virus and they have so many people sick. And these farmers, they want to get rid of their product, their pork or beef or chickens or whatever, but they have nowhere to send it, which in Iowa and a couple of other states, they've resorted to euthanizing their animals, which means what? That means there's going to be a pretty decent food shortage. We're killing them. We're just offing them and not being able to use them. Well, here in Ohio, this farmer in particular said that they're trying to come up with some creative ideas. They're feeding their animals less. They are stacking them up, double pinning them basically. They're just trying to hold out until the processing plants open back up so they can ship them off and have them processed, which makes sense. You don't want to kill off your profit as a business stance. It makes sense to try to do as much as you can, but they're used to raising them up to a certain point and then shipping them off, and they continually do that, and they've got other animals coming up right behind it that are going through the same process, right? So I'll leave a link to this article in the description down below if you want to check it out and read it for yourself. These are just some things I want to talk about, and I want you guys to think about, because they are very real, and if you're not prepared, you could be in a very bad situation. I'm really looking for this to get bad in the wintertime. So between now and then, you have plenty of time to prepare yourself. Hell, me and my wife were at the store last week, went to Costco, and they already are limiting how much beef and pork and chicken you can buy. There was a limit of 3 per customer. That's what it was, 3 per customer. They're already, they seen what happened to the toilet paper. They seen what all the freaks did with the toilet paper. Hopefully they're going to try to not let it happen with the food. But if the situation continues to get worse and worse and worse, it's not going to be a matter of rationing. It's just going to be a matter of there's not enough to go around. Prepare yourself. Start putting back food. Start canning stuff, jarring stuff. If you have a deep freezer, build it up, man. If you have a deep freezer, 9 times out of 10, you've already got this. The reason why you have it is so that you can buy meat on sale and stuff just like we do. So let's move on to the next thing. Next thing is in the Washington Post, you got some researchers out there who hypothesize that a highly contagious strain of the coronavirus is spreading. But then you got other people who are skeptical of it. You know, everything in the medical and scientific area has to be peer reviewed. And if it's not peer reviewed, then it's just anecdotal evidence. This has not been peer reviewed. This is just a researcher who is looking at the virus, who is actually from Los Alamos, and is basically, his job is to watch out for sudden changes in the virus, to be like an early warning system. He's coming out and he's the one that's saying that he thinks that the virus is mutating and it's becoming more contagious, but they don't know if more contagious equates to more deadly or stronger. You got a lot of other people who seem to think that this virus is pretty stable, that yeah, I mean, viruses mutate, that's what they do, but it's not contributing to, it's not making it more contagious or more deadly. You got ones that say that it is and ones that say that it isn't, and we're like with everything else, stuck in the middle, trying to figure it out for ourselves. My suggestion would be, when all else fails, use common sense. If you don't know and you just pretend like it is more contagious and possibly more deadly, it's not going to hurt anything. You're just going to take extra precaution to protect yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think I'll see if there was something else in here about that real quick, and like I said, I'll leave the link to this down below as well in the description. That's it for today. Just a few things in the news that I thought might be of importance to take note to, and a few things that may or may not be true. I don't know if what Joe Rogan had on his podcast is true or false. I don't think he knows either. Whether it's true or false or not, it's something to take into consideration, especially when you see our leaders going around other people, not wearing masks, not taking precautions. You've got the mayor of New York, his brother was sick with the coronavirus and was leaving his house and going to his lake house while he was sick with the coronavirus. Now tell me what kind of sense that makes. And not wearing a mask, not protecting, you know, like, you got these people saying that we can't leave our homes and we can't go outside without wearing a mask, and here this man has the damn virus and he's going to his lake house. He was actually caught by one of the people that lived near his lake house, and they knew who he was because they seen him on the news, because every night he's on there talking about how fucking sick he is. You know, they actually said something to him about it. They confronted him. I'm sure you can find it if you Google it. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but they confronted him, and he basically told them, you know, to fuck off, and what do you know about the virus, and whatever, you know what I mean? Treated him like shit. The man was like, well, I know you're not supposed to be fucking out here. I know that much. If you have anything to say on any of these issues, I would love to hear your opinion. Put it down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.